This quick video is about Gilbert syndrome and ME, CFS, and I just was going through what's really the latest on it, if anything at all. And I come across this one here, gilbertsyndrome.org.uk, for people who are interested in this thing, or maybe never heard of it before, or the connection between ME. It's a bilirubin problem. A lot of doctors don't think it does give you any problems, but if you ask the patients and that of people with GS, there does seem to be a connection with ME or the symptom itself. A syndrome means a multifaceted thing anyway, so if it's a syndrome of anything, then it's a syndrome of not just one thing. So you have to be very careful what you see on the web. None of us know, like what's going on. I'll just give you a quick demonstration. This is a video I did ages ago on a different channel, my wife's channel, Gilbert syndrome and ME, what doctors don't say or what doctors don't tell you. A lot of people say, well, it's about 5 to 10% people in the population, and then like you get this one underneath this particular video here, Gilbert syndrome, rare diseases. So it's just one of these things with GS. As I say, doctors don't often take it too seriously, which they really should, because there's even a friend of mine who has Gilbert syndrome without ME. He suffers from brain fog, terrible brain fog and jaundice and all the rest of it. I was going to put up my results of my liver tests up on here, but we've had a small fire a small house fire, so I can't do that. They've all been ruined and damaged. But this was from, as I say, gilbertsyndrome.org.uk. I'll put the address in the description. And it's from the 3rd of August 2020, and it just goes into fatigue. So if we go down, it's just general fatigue, this, and then we'll see that, and does Gilbert syndrome cause fatigue? For people with Gilbert syndrome, a lack of energy is really a commonly reported symptom. I hear all the time from the people desperate with debilitating exhaustion, with energy levels that are unpredictable. There are a number of reasons why people with Gilbert syndrome may feel exhausted. The reduced liver function, and goes into the blood sugar and stuff like that. And the typical feelings of exhaustion, jaundice, itching, and nausea are reported. For me, I feel sick all the time. I really do. So it is a bit like a hangover all the time, And alcohol, sometimes I can tolerate it, and sometimes I'm just absolutely dead with it. So a delayed gastric emptying, and then he would say that food takes longer to leave your stomach if you have Gilbert syndrome. I am sure many recognise the abdominal discomfort that entails. This has been linked to fatigue. It is also worth noting that it is also linked to chronic fatigue syndrome, which in itself has been linked to Gilbert syndrome. When there's another thing here about excess serotonin in Gilbert syndrome, and the person who writes this saying that selective serotonin uptake inhibitors may be a good idea. I'm not sure about that, because if you've already got excess serotonin, why would you need more? So I'm not sure. There may be a reason. I don't think anybody really knows exactly what the problem is, so I think it's always good to check. Beating fatigue and Gilbert syndrome. Gilbert syndrome is there was a website I had the other day, and it was a really good one, and I just lost it, and it's got some really good stuff in here. Somebody who's been diagnosed with ME, CFS and Gilbert syndrome, which I have as well. I personally think there could be two different things but given exactly same symptoms, and I think the person who did that particular website thinks similar too. I'm just trying to find the selective serotonin thing with antidepressants. Yeah. So the antidepressants in the form of SSRIs, things like Prozac, comes under that banner, fluoxetine, stuff like that, Lustral. If you feel your anxiety or low mood are overwhelming, then you must speak to your doctor and get their advice and a diagnosis. It's always good to get a diagnosis. They are also prescribed for IBS, again, something that people with Gilbert syndrome have a high rate of, and may be useful treatment option to consider in dialogue with your doctor. And you must, don't go into the black market for this stuff, because if you've already got an excess of serotonin, I'm not quite sure why you would need more, but I don't know the reasoning there. But the person who did this is the administrator. May be right. I'm not sure on that one. This is a website of me and my wife's, dosydays.co.uk, and we did a poll on this. So this is, does your Gilbert syndrome cause symptoms? And we have 97% said yes and 3% said no. And in response, it's actually 96.6%, so it's just rounded up. This must be, even though I did it, and this must be with caution, because I'm not saying that 97% of fatigue and cognitive problems were the most common symptoms. And in this, if I just get this up and go straight into this, so we see the results here of the most common symptoms. Fatigue. So yeah, when it says 22% of people had fatigue, 11% nausea and stuff, and then cognitive issues like brain fog, memory or concentration problems. I'm not quite sure how I did it. It's a few years ago now. So just because somebody had 22% fatigue, the way I did it, I think it could have been like 3 or 4 different symptoms that they could have chosen. So 22% could be something like 80%. To 90% or something like that. It's just the way I did the chart. All I was doing was just to try and get some response from people who actually had Gilbert syndrome with or without ME. But like I say, even though I did this, the 97% must be done with trepidation here, because I'm not sure if this was put in an ME group. So that needs to be, say if you've got Gilbert syndrome and ME, you're already going to be like sort of over, probably more than what may not be 97%. So it's a guide, that's all it is. But if somebody was like, and I always like to do things where it's not analysed and things like that. So I do know myself that figure's probably a little high, but nevertheless interesting. So that's basically all I wanted to say on Gilbert syndrome, for a little update on that. So thanks for anyone that watches.